Last time in the KRL, 34 drivers took to the track at Daytona in an effort to stake an opening round claim on the Season 3 title. In LMP, Eric Fox took his first pole in the Night Racing League and led for 1 hour and 54 minutes, but while pushing the in-lap before the final stop, the rears let go in the west hairpin and he was collected by an unsuspecting Imantis Shalakis. The resulting damage allowed Season 2 champion Dennis Rotter, who'd been stalking the American all race, to get by and claim the first step in his defense of the Season 2 title. GTE lived up to its reputation by fielding not only the largest class in the opening round, but the tightest battles, which lasted for the entire race. James Posland took pole but quickly handed the advantage to the field, leaving the Brit clawing his way back from outside the top 10. Meanwhile, multiple contenders took some time at the top slot, while a four-car midfield battle raged on behind them. Rory Matheson led for most of the first stint, but a hardware issue sidelined the Dutchman and handed the advantage to Ivan Zirano. Hayden Fowler also led for a time, and as the clock wound down, it was Posland who turned a three-car battle into a recovery drive for all time, claiming victory in the first round. In GT3 AM, Rowan Kelly once again took pole and led a close three-car breakaway from the green flag, but as happened in Sebring in the final Summer Super Series race, bad decisions behind him led to the Australian finding his car facing the wrong way. This left the door open for Jacob Wally to hold off the field and claim the first victory of the season. This week, the series moves north to Wisconsin, and the competitors are jumping through hoops to get to the front. It's 2 hours around the iconic Road America. Race 2 of the Night Racing League Sports Car Championship is next. Hello everybody and welcome to race number 2 at the Night Racing League Sports Car Championship. We are in beautiful Elkhart Lake, Wisconsin for 2 hours around the 6.5 kilometers of Road America. We are looking forward to a great race here with most of the front runners making the trip up north, including the 99 of Jennifer McDonald making her points race debut in the LMP2 class. Jennifer, of course, raced at Sebring at the end of the Summer Super Series. This is her first points race, and we cannot wait to see the battle up front. As you saw at Daytona, Dennis Rotter had all he could handle in race number 1 from Eric Fox. Jennifer has looked extremely fast, especially in final practice on Thursday. And also, Clayton Barklow in the 818 had that qualifying mistake which put him at the back. He should be starting where he ought to be this race. We should have a great battle up front. All it's missing is Thomas Brommel. Thomas, talked to him this week. He's traveling. He is not here again this week. He always seems to managed to do something to keep himself out of the championship battle, but it's a great fight, and we of course have more cars at the center of the class in LMP2. Christian Semba is back on the grid here today, and all of the KRE cars. It should be a spectacular race in LMP2. The points after race 1 are defending champion leading the way with that last minute pass at Daytona, 38 points for Rotter, ahead of Eric Fox at 27. Andreas Schwarz looking extremely strong here. It's been very tight in practice all week long, and we should see a great race in LMP. GTE Pro, of course, never fails to impress. The closest class, and of course we had the biggest field in that class at Daytona of the 3 classes. All the big names are here today, and we're looking for a spectacular race. The points in GTE, James Posland with the incredible drive after that first lap mistake. Hayden Fowler's in second ahead of Ivan Zirano. Andreas Sakalas, Aidan Campbell, a great field in GTE as we head into race number 2. GT3, no Rowan Kelly today, which is a real shame. Rowan, looking to be one of the cars to beat in that class, has just had some horrible luck in the last Super Series race and again at Daytona. People just getting too close, and he's had some spins not of his own doing. Rowan is off racing in real life this weekend, and so we wish him good luck, and we'll see him at Road Atlanta for race number 3. In his absence, Jacob Wally has been practicing like crazy and has actually turned the most laps in GT3 during the 15 hours of official practice that we had for this race. 118 laps turned by Wally, the most by any driver in all three classes. And he is looking to double down on that Daytona win. As we take a look at the GT3 AM points, Wally leads Bachma and Jan Spammers. That was your Daytona podium. But it's very close again. No Forrest Ellico this weekend, unfortunately, but we have a good field of GT3 AMs for you, and we can't wait to get on track this incredible 6.5 kilometer circuit at Road America. That's where we stand in the points championship ahead of race 2. Everyone is just finishing their pre-race warm-up. Now let's see where the drivers line up for 2 hours at Road America. On pole, it's the Daytona winner and Season 2 defending champion Dennis Rotter. With a 1 minute 49.582, he'll line up beside Clay Barklow, 149.811. Eric Fox is inside row 2 with a 149.934. He'll line up beside Jennifer McDonald, making her debut at 152.98. Andrea Schwarz and Paul Seeley, 0.3 apart in row number 3, with Dean Ellico, a 150.843, lining up beside his countryman and teammate Keith Rainey, 151.277. Christian Semba rounds out the LMP grid with a 151.940. GTE pole sitter is the Daytona winner James Posland with a 159.841. He'll line up beside Andrius Sakalas, 159.887. Into the 2 minutes, it's Amantis Shilakis and Max Riebensteiner in row number 2, with Hayden Fowler 2 minutes, 0.954 seconds, and Ivan Zirano in the 77 Porsche RSR. Row number 4, Kevin Hensel with a 201.161, line up beside Mark Sonnen, the Belgian with a 201.219. Zach Forster, 201.884, lines up beside Aidan Campbell with a 202.425. In GT3, Jacob Wally is on pole with a 2 minute 5.253. Jan Spammers in the 99, a 205.894. Enos Bachma is in row number 2 with a 206.003. He'll line up beside the 78 of Marcel Struth, 206.015. Jose Flores makes his KRL debut inside row 3 with a 2 minute 6.092. He'll line up beside the 29 of Lincoln Russell, 206.591. Nicholas Scott and Steve Groniga are in row number 4, 206.605 and 206.868 respectively, with Dale Clough and John Nielsen rounding out the GT3 AM field. And as we get ready for a full pace lap here, one of the great things about Road America, I wish all the circuits had that. Everybody ready to get themselves gapped and set for the start here for 2 hours at Road America. The Porsche pace car pulls away, and Dennis Rotter will lead the LMP2s to the green flag. Clayton Barklow on the grid where he should be at the front. Had a good qualifying this time after the mistake at Daytona. And we'll see what he can do up at the front. Looking a little eager as he jumps out in front. The rest of the LMPs pretty much staying in line here. As the GTE pros come down, Posland with a different paint job today. Where they're trading paints isn't picking up his paint. But he'll lead the grid down, and that is Andrius Sakalas beside him in the 717. And all Porsche RSR front row in GTE. And And the GT3 AMs coming down. The new Ferrari 488 Evo making its debut in the KRL here today. Which also means, thankfully, on the timing screens, we'll have all the GT3s with the same color and being scored against each other. It was a bit of a thing last race with the crossover. Of course, the Evo being introduced in the Season 4 build just 3 days before the race. And everybody had already done multiple days of testing before that. So we ran the Legacy car at Daytona, but it is all the full GT3 class now. And there is Jan Spammers in the 999 on the front row in the front-running 488 Evo. A good field of cars. We're above 10 again in all the classes. Except LMP. I think we were 9 in LMP today. Good to see Christian Semba back on the grid. He missed race number 1. And Jennifer McDonald in that row number 2, starting 4th. We'll get to see the 99 car battling it out for the first time with points on the line. The Season 1 and Season 2 GTE champion. Up to the top division here. As we head down to Canada Corner, still hanging back. Clayton really likes that pace car, but he's going to have to get in line with the pole sitter. And there, as I say it, they start to tighten up. All the cars get the green flags at the same time. A 10-second gap to GTE Pro. Another 5 back to GT3 AM. That's to hopefully allow a little bit of time for any problems to get sorted and keep the classes separate as they battle out the first few laps. The pace car will make a sharp right, and the field comes under control of Dennis Rotter in the 011. Up the hill, and we are green. Jennifer McDonald, a good start as she pulls up alongside Eric Fox. Everybody through clean. And we run down the hill. Clayton Barklow in the lead. Poslin from pole is going to take the lead again here at Road America. In behind, everybody looks clean through turn number 1. And a GT3 AMs are down, and it is Jan Spammers into turn 1. There is Keith Rainey. He has made a pass on the 72, and Semba in behind passes Dean Ellico. But up front, it is Clayton Barklow in the lead, and LMP takes to the grass early. You only get 10x here, and we hear there was a little bit of contact at the back of the grid there. The field got a little tight in turn 3, and we think Rainey and Seeley had a little coming together, very, very light, but you got to start watching your incident points as you only get 10 before a drive-through. Rotter off the track as we exit the kink. Kink for the first time. That was Kevin Hensel with a little bit of grass as everybody getting those tires up to temperature. But as we come around, Clayton Barklow will lead the first lap here at Road America. Almost 2-minute laps. Certainly it is for the GT classes. And as always, it's tight, tight, tight in GTE Pro. Polsland will lead them to the line. Sakalis second, Shilekas third, Riebensteiner in fourth, Fowler, then Hensel and Campbell. 5 seconds cover the top 8, and it's close in behind, right down to the back of the 10-car field here today. We have 1 car in the pits. That is Andreas Schwarz, who has gone off at Canada corner, we hear. A bit of a late break. As we come down to Canada corner, or sorry, down into turn number 5, Mark Soden having a look on Zirano. And Sakalas in the lead up front. He's made the pass. The Porsche swap positions, and in through turn 8 to the carousel, we have a new leader. Searching through, we can't seem to get a replay of Schwarz going off. We hear it was down in Canada corner, a bit of a late break on the outside, and he has clipped the wall and is in for some repairs. As we say that, he is rejoining the circuit. Just getting some updates from the pit wall. Yeah, we believe it's just a trading paint problem. Too bad, because it's a beautiful livery on the 91 car. We also think there's that same issue with Nicholas Scott. Yes, his livery is also not loaded. So not sure what's up with that. Two cars not showing the way they should, but their race will show as it happened. As Zirano in the tow of Kevin Hensel down the back straightaway. Barklow pulling out a little bit of a lead up front. And there is Schwarz, you can see back out of the pits, has got himself in between the two leaders. And that's now a 2-second gap, so not much damage for the 204 car, but it has cost him a position. As we have a touch, that was Mark Sonen. He and Zirano have gone around. Coming down into turn 5, he's an awfully long way behind, but just doesn't quite get the binders on. And this is something that came up in the drivers' meeting. We've had a little too much direct contact from behind, and they're going to be looking at that. So the stewards may be handing out some penalties here today. That is Nicholas Scott in the 9 car. Just in front, Steve Groninga with a brand new livery on the 488 Evo. He's got that car currently in 6th place in class, but you can see how close it is. That 3-car battle here. They've dropped 8 seconds off the lead as we're working lap number 3 in GT3 AM. Back up there is Jennifer McDonald. McDonald in 3rd now, ahead of Eric Fox in 4th. And they're going to have to negotiate the 204 of Andreas Schwarz. Andreas on the pace, so that early off, really a shame there. He would have been running pretty much where he is now on track. As we see the 23 of Aidan Campbell and Hayden Fowler swapping positions down on the approach to turn 5. Campbell coming out on top of that one. And actually, Schwarz pulling away a little bit from that third place battle as Eric Fox has a look inside. Decides to tuck it back in. 1 hour, 52 minutes to go. There behind them, the 3 KRE cars together, and Elko having a look. And he also drops back in behind the 72 of Paul Seeley. Late on the brakes. Oh, and was there a touch there? McDonald is around. She's got to get on carefully. Here comes that battle. Everybody through. That is Rainey. Seeley is through. He's going to get McDonald. Elko just in behind. And Eric Fox has dropped to 7th place. And we get a look from the chopper. Oh, I don't even think that was netcode, but same incident, just not quite getting the binders on. Not even really a lockup there, but it's going to cost Fox 4 positions. And again, that'll go down to the stewards. So now Jennifer, who has been very fast in practice, is going to have some work. She's got Seeley and Rainey in front of her now. Rainey having a great start to this race, up to a podium position. Meanwhile, back in GTE Pro, Sakalis continues to lead Poseland. They've got a little bit, you can see Shilakis is coming along, and that's 3-car breakaway now. It's 4 seconds back to Riebensteiner, who you just catch coming out of the paint there. And, although it's not as pretty as his usual car, it shows you it's always a good idea to have your base paint on iRacing with something that's watchable. Not a terrible looking car there for James today, but unfortunately not the one we saw in the grid photos. He continues to run in behind Sakalis, who I believe this is his first lead in the series, so looking very, very good here. The practice times in GTE were just, you could throw a blanket over everybody. As was the case actually in all 3 classes. I was going to say LMP as well. We've just noticed her blue on the timing screen. Not sure why that is. We've got lots of fun stuff happening. At least the GT3s have the pink color. As we check back in with the GT3s, that 3-car battle, the lead LMP car coming through, Veronica Scott and Lincoln Russell in the plain white wrapper, as he likes to call it. It is actually a livery. That's the funny part about that. If you look close at the 29 car, he has the Night Racing League number plates on that. So that is not a Trading Paints issue. That is Lincoln's actual custom paint. As Dennis Rotter makes his way through, and here comes the 6. Rainey getting through. Here's Rainey now. Sorry, that was Andre Schwarz. That's going to throw me with him up in that position. Here comes Rainey, Seeley, and McDonald now past. That's John Nielsen. He's also changed his paint. That's the way it looked during the race. Dale Clough, the next for this battle that is nose to tail. Seeley now having a look as he's got Rainey boxed in, but not through turn 7. Again, they try to guess which side. Clough gets out of the way best he can, and they go through on the right. All the LMPs coming through. Nose to tail now. 3rd to 7th place. within a second. Is starting as the GTEs. They've got their own battle to worry about. LMP's having to be patient through Bishop Corner here. 13 and 13A officially. Seeley on the outside. Rainey has come across and he's going to hit the wall. Keith Rainey now in the tire barrier. And considerable damage on that left front. We do have a replay. We're coming back live as these LMPs are all coming through. In that little kerfuffle, it has allowed McDonald and Fox to go through. Seeley now in 5th, Alico 6th, Semba up to 7th. Rainey has understandably gone to the pits. He's going to have that left front looked at, but that battle comes through. The three-way GTE battle. Now let's have a look at what happened. Seeley up on the outside. You see he's taken almost to the grass to get out of the way, but he's clipped by the 6 car. And Keith has come off worse in that exchange. Seeley, again, we thought they had contact early on in the race, and that's more. How many incident points have those guys got? We're only 15 minutes into this race. So the LMP field continues to jumble. Barklow leads from Rotter. And now it's McDonald 3rd, Fox 4th, Seeley 5th, and Alico 6th as they come through the kink. And we get to the sharp end of the GT3 class. Seeley with a run down to Canada corner. Does the Canadian make a pass in his corner? No, he doesn't. Fox maintains that position. A little flash for Enos Bothma there as we come through. Very well done, and he's back on the tail of the 99, who's had to wait through the final corner. Those are your GT3 AM leaders. Spammers leads the Daytona winner, Jacob Wally. And with the traffic coming through, they've now put a 3-second gap on Enos Bothma. You can see there on the front straightaway. Seeley back up to the tail end of the 99. Alico has lost out a little bit in that traffic, but these three are still together, and they've got some empty track ahead of them. No cars between Schwarz and Rotter in front. Rotter is just now on Ivan Zirino going through turn 7, so they've got a couple of corners. Seeley hard on the brakes, but he does get it out of the way. No contact with the 99. And that's going to drop him back off. It's a two-way battle now for 3rd. As Semba's coming through there. And Fox into 3rd. Very close to 2 Ferraris there as this battle continues for 6th place in GT3 AM. We have 4 Ferraris, the new Evos on the grid today, and the 3 of them running together here. Spammers, of course, the other Ferrari leading the class. Everyone coming to grips with the new car. It looks competitive. 6 seconds now, the lead for Barklow over Rotter. And as happened in Daytona, where he was trailing Eric Fox for the entire race until the one small miscue cost the 33 car. But here again, Rotter finding himself trailing the leader. Barklow looking very comfortable out front. Was nipped at the end of qualifying for pole position, but he's had pace all week, as he always has. Clayton's issue is putting together the results. He's looking more and more confident and more steady. And is he putting it together here as he's coming through a couple of the KRE GTE Pro cars? And there is Clayton now with a 5-second gap. We jump back here to this 6th place battle in GT3 as Zach Forster is off. That is at Bishop. He's going to back it off the circuit. As we've got a battle in the middle of GTE Pro as well. Campbell having a look, but he's got to yield to the LMP leader coming through, and that'll temporarily spread them apart. Well, we'll look back at Zach. He was just being passed by Rotter and clipped the grass with his right rear tire there, so no good deed goes unpunished. Forster out of the way nicely, but caused him just to clip the grass a little bit. As that battle now down into Canada corner. Groningen maintains his advantage. Nicholas Scott with a look now, or sorry, at Lincoln Russell having a look at Nicholas Scott. Russell temporarily ahead on the timing screens, and he is going to make that stick. So up to 7th place for the plain white wrapper. Meanwhile, Rotter comes through, and you can see Campbell's got himself back onto the 14. Definite pace advantage, it looks like, for the 23. This battle 10 seconds off the back. I'm not really sure why Campbell was at the back of the grid. He had a very poor qualifying time. Everyone got 4 laps of lone qualifying as Link. That is Nicholas Scott in the wall down at turn 5, and he's got to keep that thing stopped. He's got a little gap here he can go through. Dale Clough is next coming down the hill. And he tries to get that running again. He just lost it and hit very, very hard. And there you can see his proper livery is on the replay. Just lost that under braking. As we rejoin the battle for 4th in GTE Pro, Riebensteiner leads Campbell. They're going through turn 5 at the moment. These 4 look like they want to play all day. Fox, McDonald, Seeley, and Ellico, they ebb and flow. But never more than a few seconds apart. Poslan continues to dog Sakalas. They've pulled a 4-second gap now on Shilakis. But a pair of Lithuanians in the top 3 here today. Meanwhile, the LMP battle now coming through the thick end of the GTE Pro class. Campbell is through Riebensteiner, we see on the timing screens. He has made that pass, so the 23 finally released, and we'll see if that pace he's got is going to allow him to move up and grab the back of the top 3 in GTE. He's got 6 seconds, and Riebensteiner now has the toe. So right over. They've got to let Fox through. But he did a lot of hard work to get that car in front, and that is completely legal to take your racing line on the inside. All good, no harm, no foul. Campbell will maintain that position as the rest of that LMP pack comes through. McDonald is first. Campbell moves to the right to break the toe off the 14, but that doesn't do any favors for the LMPs coming through. Seeley now has to shoot the gap, and that is going to really harm Ellico. And there's no gain out of that anyway, as he had to let the 72 through, and now Riebensteiner has got the run on him again, and he's beside him through. They're going to bump. Campbell maintains that position, but very hard racing, a little flash, but that is not a place you want to go through side by side. Campbell's got the racing line on the inside, and I think that'll be incidental contact. This battle and the traffic coming through is allowing that 2-car pack of Hensel and Fowler to close up a little bit. All Campbell wants is to get himself clear and start making his way toward the top 3. All that intense racing has spread apart our LMP 4-car battle now. Fox has made it up to the leaders. He's through Poseland and now getting past the GTE Pro leader, Andreas Sakalas. Here's a threesome we haven't seen yet. This is Marcel Struff in 3rd place, leading Bothma, and newcomer Jose Flores in the number 10. He's actually going to be running the number 25 moving forward. He's going to get that number temporarily from Connor Seidel. A little shout out to the Canadian who is off getting himself educated, and he will fault nobody for that. And we'll hopefully see Connor for some guest appearances and maybe for season 4. Seeley now through that lead GTE Pro battle. As we take a look on board the 91 car, see Dean Ellico is the next LMP to come through, and that gap opening up a little bit here. Almost to a whole second. Sorry, this is Sakalas we're on board. That's why we can't see him up front. We're actually on board with him. There goes Ellico, and from behind there is onboard Poseland. As the GTE Pro leaders start their 14th lap, we are 27 minutes into the race, so pit stops will be coming soon. Christian Semba, the next car, the 7th place LMP. Poseland gets himself back in contact with the leader. There in his rear view, just catch a glimpse of Ignatius Shalekas coming through the quarters and behind. That looked like John Nielsen off the track. So we check back in now with Campbell and Riebensteiner still behaving themselves. And this three-car battle continues to rage with Dennis Rotter coming through. Marcel Struve having a great run in that M4. Marcel in his third season here in the KRL, and he's got Enos Bothma and Jose Flores right on him. Poseland now, as we come by the 18 of Dale Clough, is on the tail. Are we going to see an attempt at the lead here in GTE Pro? Nose to tail down the moraine sweep. And Riebensteiner up the front straightaway with another toe on the 23. And through goes Riebensteiner, and a flash of the lights there. I'm not sure why Campbell has dropped off the timing screen. That's an odd one. He's clearly running in behind the 14 car. There he is, back where he should be, as the 94 comes through and clips him. They had a huge tow. And we've had our third hit from behind in turn number 5. Oh, that was Kevin Hensel. As Riebensteiner got through, we said those cars were getting closer and closer, and it's a lockup. And, and a secondary hit. That's even worse. Hensel has continued. Campbell has towed to the pits. The Stewart's going to be busy here today. It was actually brought up in a bit of a comical way in the drivers' meeting, but we had a couple of hits from behind at Daytona. For the second time in a row on Rowan Kelly, who was leading the GT3 AM class both times. And so the Stewart's trying to bring it to everybody's attention to, especially in those heavy braking zones, turn 1 at Daytona, turn 5 here, to keep that car under control, a little lift, and get it down to speed. We've seen 3 from some very good drivers here today. I mean, Eric Fox making that mistake. That was Kevin Hensel, a veteran here, so your experience level doesn't keep you out of the Stewart's office. Your conduct does, and I'm sure we'll hear about those. In fact, Eric Fox has already been ruled. That one is an avoidable contact, his first of the season. And the Mark Sonnen one also, avoidable contact for his hit down in turn number 1, as we have Clayton Barklow in the pits. Okay, first LMP to pit. I saw Rotter's name jumped at the top of the timing screen. This is a scheduled pit stop as the LMP start to come down. "33 minutes into the race. He'll drop down to the back of the field. We'll start to see what the strategies for the LMPs are. We know they usually have plenty. 4 seems to be the number they go for. Shout out to everyone on YouTube and Discord. I'm getting messages all over. People announcing their plans. Actually, Petit Le Mans is coming up next week. Of course, we head to Road Atlanta in 2 weeks. So it'll be a busy time in the next fortnight as everybody heads back down south to Georgia. And this battle is really getting good now. Jose Flores, in his KRL debut here, running in 3rd place now. Marcel Struff in the lead. Wally and Spammers have gone to the pits. So we're seeing GT3 pit stops as well. And there are tires going on the 827. I see. What is going on here? These are your GT3 AM leaders coming down to Canada Corner. Dean Ellico comes through. Oh, he's hit the grass. And he's spun and he's collected the 99. Oh my goodness. So a huge development. Your Daytona leader with damage. That car in the pits along with Spammers, and that has vaulted this 3-car battle for 3rd and promoted it to a 3-car battle for the lead. And here comes Edis Bothma up the hill. Flores says, I'll have some of that, but a little bit of a, I'd say, trying to catch the draft more than a block. But Flores is going to come through on the outside, side by side with the 78 of Struff. We'll head down to turn 3. Meanwhile, Barklow out of the pits. Oh, I almost thought we were going to have some more contact, but it's a great over-under, and Flores into 2nd. Fantastic action in the GT3 AM class. Barklow now is free and clear. He'll get himself out of this battle. The only car to pit so far in LMP. Schwarz has a tick in that column, but of course he had an incident early on. Checking back in with the GTE Pro leaders. Down into turn 5. We have got some new front runners poking their heads out for the GTE Pro Championship. Of course, a non-defended division here. McDonald moving up to LMP. Hayden Fowler is always a front runner. Sakalis, Posel, and Silikas. Of course, from race number 1. Some amazing pace from Gary Matheson as well. We're going to see a lot of people. Campbell's got the pace to be up there. Although he looks as though he may have retired that car. And that's not going to work. No points for retiring, of course. The new damage model allows you to get everything fixed back to brand new. The LMPs are all in the pits now. Except for Dean Ellico. He always seems to get an extra lap. Barklow is going to go by. Rotter is also going for an extra lap here. And we'll start to see what the pit times are. Clayton Barklow, 33.4 seconds stopped when he came down. That is fuel only. Awfully early stop. I mean, if he's pushing that hard, he was in the lead. But he has stopped 2 laps earlier than the rest of the field. And Rotter, who was behind him, we know the fuel save king, is going to go another lap further than that. Everybody out. Fox and Seeley together. Jennifer McDonald back in 6th place. So she has lost out on the pits just looking at the stops, 33.5 for Fox, 23.1 seconds for the 72 car. So there explains that. 32.8 stops for McDonald. So Seeley, a short fill. Everyone else took the full 75 liters, it looks like. The Canadian did not, and he has leapfrogged McDonald into 5th place. Rotter and Ellico in the pits. Now, so we will see where Barklow and Rotter cycle through here. Up the hill. Rotter still stationary as Ellico makes it to his pit box. Here comes Barklow, and he will regain the lead. Oh, as we have, is that Struff in the background? That is Marcel Struff. He has been off circuit. We had the GTE Pro leaders coming through. We had an LMP. That was Jennifer McDonald. And he had lost. There are your leaders there. Bothma in front, Flores second, Struff now in third, and he's lost. He's now got a 9-second gap to the front there as he comes by Groningen. Got an LMP coming through. That's Riebensteiner, I believe. Yes. One of the downsides of swapping from the Mercedes AMG to the M4 is now we've got 2 BMWs to distinguish. But that is Riebensteiner in the 14. As Posland continues to hound Sakalas up front in GTE Pro. And when are the GTE Pros coming through? As we are seeing Zerino in now. Generally, it's about 5 minutes, I would think. 5 to 7 minutes for GTE cars, although we're seeing some out-of-sequence things. Very high tire wear on the left side here, especially the left front. And some people may take tires, some people may not. And if you're going to take tires, you want to do it as close to halfway, I would think. So we could see some fuel strategies adopting to that. Is that what is going on in the 72, as I say it out loud? The only Christian Semba, 46.6 seconds stopped. Did he maybe take some left sides early here? You don't have to take all 4 tires. Sakalas through this battle. We have the GT leaders in both classes on the screen at the same time. Posland is going to have to wait through Bishop. He can't make a move. Look at him go very wide there to give himself a run. Oh, as 3 of them come to pit road. We thought we saw Flores jump there. He wasn't jumping to get out of the way. He was jumping to get to the inside to come down to the pits. The GT3 AM leaders in together. Posland will have a lap on his own up front as Sakalas in the 717 down pit road for the first time. Oh, and there you caught a glimpse of Jacob Wally, who is still in the pits getting fixed. As we check out pit road, Groningen comes through. He will temporarily get up into the podiums. Sonnen comes down pit road. And Paul Seeley continues to hound Eric Fox, but we have different race strategies going on now in LMP, at least 2 that we know of now. Everybody seems to have full pitted, well, 3, because I believe Semba has taken some tires. Maybe the Discord can help me out. We'll get a reply on that to see if the 126 took tires on that first stop. We say maybe you split the race in halves, but if you want to go full fuels, and you're going to take tires, you do it on the first stop because you can clearly get to the end of the race taking a stint off the tires. Everybody out of pit road there as we catch a glimpse. And coming out, Marcel Struff leads Lincoln Russell and Steve Groninga. He, of course, has not pitted. Bothma is out of the pits ahead of Flores, and they've actually got the 54 of John Nielsen, who is yet to come down pit road, in between them. The gap in LMP is now 11.5 seconds, as Simba does keep it on the island. There comes Struff into the pits. And we'll try to get one of the cameras that we can actually see over that wall. 13 seconds now as Rodder coming through traffic. Posland is in the pits in GTE Pro as well. We'll catch back when they're ready to come out. There's Jose Flores in his first race, running 6th at the moment, but that's going to cycle through here. Up on the jacks is James. So Sakalis will go by. No tires for the 717. Tires for the 91 car. Out comes the 78. We'll see where he cycles in. There is Bothma just now coming through turn number 3, so that's a big gap. Struff as well. 4 seconds stopped, longer than the 395, and that gap has turned into a 13-second gap on track. So is maybe Bothma also trying to split this race in half with a bit of a short fill? I'll just go through some of the other. Flores took tires. We know Lincoln Russell has taken tires. And we're letting all that cycle through. It is fuel only for Bothma, but a short fill, 34.6 for Struff. 32.2 for Groninga, so it's not that much of a short fill if that's what he's doing. Maybe just getting in and out of pit road, he was a little more efficient. As we take a breath, the first pit stops are settled. Clayton Barklow leads in LMP 15 seconds, but we know that pace is burning a ton of fuel, and he came down pit road 3 laps earlier than Dennis Rodder in 2nd place. We'll see how that plays out. This is the 91 of James Posland, who now finds himself in 4th place. And James has a 2nd pit stop up beside his name. And it looks as though that was a drive-through. Flores is around down in Canada corner. And he's going to drop down to 5th place. Let's see what happened there. It's Mark Sonnen. They're coming through the corner. Mark is fully there. They just kind of come side by side. And I think that's a little more room. Could have been handy, but Mark has already gotten himself in trouble here. I'm not sure that one's going to make its way through. That looked pretty incidental. Somebody's alongside, you got to leave the room. And that one looked just like a little bit of a trip over. But it has cost the newcomer here. He's behind Lincoln Russell in the 29. Everybody has stopped once now, so this has cycled through. And Posland now, we believe, has had a drive-through penalty. I can't imagine how he would have got that. Did he speed coming out of pit road? Again, I call out to the Discord to see if I can get any confirmation on that. That's a curious one. Because his last pit stop has no time stopped and 0.2 seconds for his pit road time. So that's very curious, unless it's just a mistake by the graphics. I'd love to get confirmation on that one. Mark Sonnen continues on. No worse for wear. It was very light incidental contact. Unfortunately, it spun the 10 car. You never know who's on triples or VR or well, we do most of them. Not sure if he knew who was beside. It is a rule in the league that you must have a spotter, whether it's crew chief or using the iRacing one or any other one. You need to know who's around you, and you need to know when to leave a lane for somebody. Paul Seeley now has been caught by the 99. McDonald, who took a full fuel load on the back of the Canadian's car. So the 72 with a little lighter fuel is not turning in the lap times. A 53.4 the last time around for the Canadian. A 52.4, so a full second gained by the 99, and we might see a change in position there for fourth place in LMP2. Eric Fox has really gapped. He's got 4 seconds now on Seeley. We saw them nose to tail after the pit stops. Jacob Wally back on circuit. Great to see, but his race 5 laps down. And what a shame for the Daytona winner. Just clipped the grass right here coming down into Canada Corner with that left rear tire. It spun across into the inside barrier and it unfortunately collected the 999 of Jan Spammers as well. Spammers with far less damage with just car contact. He's dropped to 8th place, but is on the lead lap. Let me just check the map here. Yeah, Spammers is actually on the lead lap still. 155 officially off the race lead. Spammers has crossed the line. The leader, Bothma, is just now coming up to the start-finish line. There he is on the screen. And Marcel Struve back up to 2nd place with that Flores incident. And it's 14 seconds, the gap up to the South African in the 395. A fantastic world championship, if you want to call it that. We've got more than 10 countries represented. New driver Jose Flores in the 10, our first Puerto Rican driver here today. There's your GTE Pro leader, Andreas Sakalas, of course, Lithuania. Lots of Americans, a few Canadians. Got a couple of Brits, an Australian, of course. There's Wally. So great stuff. As Spammers, you can see he has kept the lead lap. He has not gone for all the optional damage, obviously. He just got that car so it was driving straight. He's going to try and make the best of what he's got. Unfortunately, on the end of somebody else's incident. Seeley has pulled a little bit of a gap through traffic on McDonald here as they come through the GTE Pro leader. Posland has caught Riebensteiner. That's our next battle. And the fresh tires won't hurt there. He's got to good run down the inside. Let's see if we can get back to that. And he will get that done going into turn number 1. Posland back on the podium in GTE Pro. We saw Riebensteiner fighting hard with Campbell earlier. But a great exit out of turn 3. And maybe a little bit of a toe from the 999. And no attempt back as we head down through 5. Ivan Zirano had such a great race at Daytona. Of course, finished on the podium in 3rd. Having a bit of a rough day here today. In 9th place in GTE Pro. Zach Forster in that beautiful Corvette C8R, number 30. He missed Daytona, but great having him on the grid here. He's running in 8th place as our LMP leader is coming through, and he's going to have to shoot the gap. As Forster well over to the left, Groninga well over to the right. And Barklow gets it through cleanly. That gap now almost 16 seconds in LMP. That is Semba and Schwarz, not a battle for position on track. And as Riebensteiner comes through the final corner behind Jacob Wally, you can see that gap has opened up for 3rd place in GTE Pro. Posland now with some work to do. Amanda Shilakis is a long way up the road. 16 seconds, the best part of. Shilakis having a good run here as well. Just 8 seconds off the lead behind his countryman, Drew Sakalis. Those two are buddies, joined the lead together, and they're having a great 1-2 run here as we approach the 1 hour mark at Road America. Race 2 of the Sports Car Championship. We're watching Christian Semba in his first race of the season. And that is Keith Rainey in front of him, who lets him go. Keith, of course, looks to be 3 laps down after his issues early on. Just getting word from pit road. It was not an extra stop for Posland, so that's got to be a little bit of a glitch on the timing screen. So he's only done 1 stop. We know he took tires, so that explains the gap from Sakalis and Shilakis back to Posland. We thought it was strange with the pit road time registering as 0.2 seconds. If it was a drive-through penalty, it would have been an actual time. So it's just glitched on the exit, I guess, and registered a 2nd stop. And it was a 4-tire stop, we're also being told there. So Posland should have the pace. And as we said, you're iffy to go the whole race. You can do it. But if he takes tires on that first stop, you are definitely good to the end of the race. So James should be able to push there. And watch that gap. It's 23 seconds. Groninga does a little grass clipping outside of the kink. As he is battling with that 4 car. In fact, Russell has made the pass. You can see on the windscreen, he's got a 4. He's now in 3rd place. So the plain white wrapper continues to move toward the front with those beautiful Night Racing League number plates. Zero now tries to get himself out of the way, and we'll see if that battle for 3rd continues on. Groninga lost a little bit of touch there with his off-track excursion, but he didn't touch anything, and he didn't take any damage, so see if he can get himself back up into a fight for that third place. Fox comes through there. Fox now having it his own way in third, but unfortunately he is well back of the top two cars. His early shenanigans with McDonald down in turn 5 have earned him a penalty and have earned him 33 seconds behind the leader. He, of course, led 1 hour and 54 minutes at Daytona in race 1. McDonald now coming through the traffic and starting to look like she's going to bother the 72, who is stuck behind that Ferrari. There's no way you're going to pass going into the kink. Roninga tried to keep it left. Seeley, I think, wanted to go left, and they both moved together, so he's still behind him as we head into the carousel. Bad decision by the 72. He hasn't made any contact, but has cost a lot of time. And McDonald now right on the tail end. She'll come through the kink, get a tow, and we'll see if there's a move into Canada corner. No, she's backed off a little bit through that kink, just making sure the car was under. We approach the 1 hour mark, and that short fill will start to come into view as well. When is the Canadian going to be coming down pit road? Is he going to take tires? All the answers on deck here. It has been 12 laps since the 72 was down pit road. McDonald also pitted on the same laps as did Fox. Eric's had a great second stint here. And has really staked a claim for that final podium spot at least. 8-second gap as we pan back to the Canadian, with McDonald just biding her time. How often did we see this in GTE last season and in season 1? Biding her time in second, third, fourth place, and somehow at the end of the race, it was a top 2 or a victory. Led to back-to-back championships, looking to do that here, although the race missed at Daytona is going to hurt mightily in a class that is this close. We'll see how many points she can grab here today and start. That was Keith Rainey, I believe, getting himself, yes it was, out of the way of this battle for fourth place. Rodder now 20 seconds off the lead. And he hung around at Daytona. All he needed was one mistake. He got it from Fox, and that allowed him to claim the victory. 21 seconds almost now. That's a big mistake. So we'll see what's going to happen. Ooh, Mark Sonnen is off at the final turn. We're going to stick here as McDonald is finally having a look on the inside down into turn number 1. Seeley cannot defend. A great pass. Jennifer McDonald up to fourth place in LMP2. Is Seeley going to try and get a run down to turn 5 and repay the favor? Good exits by both. They've got the 78 of the second place GT3 AM car in front. That's Marcel Struff. They're both by cleanly, but no pass attempt. 58 minutes remain here today. If you're going to split this race in half, now would be the time to come down pit road. We will watch all the classes to see what happens there. Seeley's still holding on to that gap. Rodder coming down the front straightaway in second. Hensel and Fowler having a tough day here today in the Corvettes. We know they are racing EES tomorrow. There's been a lot of testing going on. The GTE class, for the most part, didn't do a lot of practice time. Fowler was actually the most practice, but only did 54 laps. You're hearing numbers like 118 by Jacob Wally. It wasn't too far behind from a lot of other drivers. Paul Seeley's in the pits. So the 72 splitting this race in half. And we will keep an eye on how long that pit stop is. Still being held, 32, 33 seconds and away. No tires for the 72. But that is full fuel. If you're playing it straight up, we believe it's 2 full fuel stops and a splash and go. Splitting the race into halves will lengthen the splash and go, obviously, and give you a short fill, which he's already done. Usually with tires, I guess we're judging the tire wear in that car. It's been good enough that they decided to save the 28 seconds. So Seeley back out on track, currently in 7th place. Jennifer McDonald in the pits. And that one is a little bit of a surprise, as she took full fuel, so she's doing a shorter fill here because that car will not be empty. Alico goes by. The 99 on pit road. Sakalas continues to lead in GTE Pro. It is 6.8 seconds over Romantis Shilakis. Posland, with those fresh tires, now only 20 seconds behind with 54 minutes to go. Up on the jacks is the 99, so that's why such a short stint. It's a short fuel, of course. She took full fuel on her first stop. This will be kind of a half fuel to top it up. And it's left side only tires for the 99. Off the jacks and away, 48.4 seconds stopped. There's Hayden Fowler in the 28 car, currently in 6th place in GTE Pro. And we're used to seeing a little more pace out of that car. The Corvette's having a little bit of trouble here today. Although, Shilakis is in a Corvette in 2nd place, so this might be a team setup thing going on here. We know they're spreading it pretty thin on that, trying to get ready for Road Atlanta. And we have had a bit of a schedule change. We try, when we do the schedules for this series, to avoid the endurance series, the 6-hour races. And iRacing did a little bit of a flip on us, putting the races on the odd weeks of the schedule. It was on the even weeks last season. So we scheduled on the odds, and that put us away from Road Atlanta, of course. Everybody wants to run the 10 hours. So we avoided that weekend. But it unfortunately means that these races here are conflicting with EES weekends. A lot of the guys race on Sundays anyway, but what it does do, we might be seeing that in the Corvette program at KRE, it means you're having to test for 2 races on the same week. And that has been addressed after Road Atlanta. Let's see if I can... I'll pop up the schedule. You can see now there are 3 races in November. So after Monza has been moved up a week, Le Mans has been moved up a week, Spa was always on the off week. And so that means at least the second half of the schedule is going to avoid those EES races, but we've left the beginning here because we wanted Road Atlanta to be free and clear for everybody. So it's a busy time, but yeah, we'll get that schedule change up there. The 818 is on pit road for the second time. We know he had a short first stint, and that looks like no tires as well. He'll drop down to 3rd place, and we'll see where that plays out. Seeley now with full fuel has dropped down to 6th place. We'll do a little bit of a field rundown for you here. Dennis Rotter now leads in LMP2. There is Dennis. And a gap that was a little larger earlier is now 9 seconds for Eric Fox. These two yet to make their second stop. And we'll see where they play out with Clayton Barklow, who's now made 2 pit stops. He's not getting the fuel mileage that everyone else is. We didn't see tires on that car. But he's now running in 3rd place and 38 seconds off the lead. So we'll see. That's going to be pretty close. But he should maintain that advantage over Dennis Rotter. In 4th place now is Dean Ellico in the 429. Dean getting his usual great mileage and switched to the blue wheels, so that's good for identifying the drivers. Christian Semba is 5th, Seeley now 6th, McDonald 7th, and Schwarz running in 8th place. Keith Rainey is 9th, running 4 laps down. All these cars took full fuel. We have the LMP and GTE Pro leaders on the same screen. It was a little more than 40 minutes, I believe, when the GTEs came down, so maybe another 9 minutes until we see them splitting the race into 3 stints. Marcel Struve coming through the carousel with Paul Seeley, running in 2nd place, but that gap now is 20 seconds up to Enos Bothma. Wally 6 laps down after that problem at Canada Corner. Trying to get as many points as he can here. Points paid down to 10th place, 2 points for 10th, 38 for 1st place. We run the WEC points table here, and if you're running at the end of the race out of the top 10, you receive a single point. We have 10 car classes. The only time you don't get points, and it doesn't matter if you finish in 2nd place, if you're not running at the end of the race, you get 0 points. Also very clearly laid out in the rules, and especially with the new damage model, there's no reason not to finish a race. This is an endurance series. The cars can be put back to brand new, as you can see from the 827 there, and get out and finish your 2 hours. No points for going home, as Barklow coming through a bit of heavy traffic here. Gets himself through. Having a great run, probably his best run in the league so far. And 38 seconds the gap. You just can't wait. It's going to be soon. It'll be 19 laps next time around for Dennis Rotter since his last pit stop, and I believe that was the length of his first stint. See him in the background there. Actually coming around to put McDonald and Seeley a lap down. They, of course, made their second stops. McDonald took tires. But when Rotter peels off, that threat will go away. We'll see if the German comes down pit road here after his 19th lap on this stint. And more importantly, where he cycles out to the 818 car. Semba has come to pit road. Seeley is going on past. Up the hill. It's not this time by. Rotter continues on. Send a second pit stop will put him back in order. Actually behind Schwarz now, who we just got a glimpse of. There he is. Schwarz on the lead lap. He's made 2 stops. Of course, one was for damage early on. So we believe he still will need to make another one. Posland. Who do you see a pump of there? And he has dropped back behind Riebensteiner. Fox in the pits, so Clayton Barklow will take second place. It's really the pit stop from Dennis Rotter we're waiting for. We hear a couple of issues to watch. First off, we've got something from Hayden Fowler. That's John Nielsen off the circuit. Oh, and Fowler's gone too wide. He's clipped the grass with that left side and put himself around. Hayden won't be too pleased about that. As Enos Bachma comes through Canada Corner, your GT3 AM leader. McDonald, through the twistiest bits of the circuit, will have to relinquish some of that space. Trying once again to catch Paul Seeley in front of her. Posland and Riebensteiner very, very close. It's now a battle for that final podium position in GTE Pro. They've got Dale Clough in front, waiting through the carousel. Why is Riebensteiner so wide there? You want the inside line. Posland will say thank you very much, and he takes third place. We come through the kink. Don't tell me he was trying to set up a toe to get him back at Canada Corner. That doesn't make any sense at all, but that's what he's going to have to do. Posland has it covered. Very curious car placement there by the 14, and it's cost him a position here. Rotter is in the pits, and Barklow has regained the lead. Ellico stopped in behind. And it is full fuel again for the 011. No tires. As we rejoin this battle, Posland looking to be able to pull away again. Fox moves back into his third place. And that gap to Barklow, 30 seconds, 11 seconds to Dennis Rotter. So it's been fluctuating. I think we saw it as close as 9 seconds before the pit stops. Sakalis off the track. That is your GTE Pro leader. And that puts Mantis Shilakis into the lead in GTE Pro. And I have to tell you, we haven't seen a lot of Amantis. He's been having a great run, keeping it clean. And that 546 is now in the lead in GTE Pro. But it's not going to be a comfortable one. As you can see, Sakalis didn't hit anything. Just a short little trip on the grass. He is right there. It's less than 2 seconds. And they ran almost identical lap times last time around, 2:02.3 and 2:02.4. So although Sakalis a little quicker, there's basically nothing between them. Meanwhile, as we expected, up front, Clayton Barklow in the 818. That gap now 18 seconds to Dennis Rotter. Eric Fox, as you see here, running in third, 10 seconds behind the German. And Posland is, with those fresher tires, pulling away from Riebensteiner. Still 24 seconds up to Shilakis. And that means 22 seconds up to his next competitor. So maybe third is going to be as high as it goes for the Brit. He had a race win at Daytona, so still a good points day. Andre Schwartz comes in for his second pit stop. His second scheduled pit stop. Barklow is looking good today. Is this going to be his first win in the series? Sembo will retake that 7th place that he's had most of the day. Just checking the lap times here. It was a 2:01.1 last time around. So Posland is closing that gap. 2:01.8 for Shilakis. And 2:01.2 for Sakalis, who is right back on it. We're going to have to start watching those guys again. Here they are. As Dennis Rotter makes his way through. We can have a little time at the front, but I got a feeling Sakalis is not going to let Amantis play with his P1 for too long. We're going to have a battle up front here by the two friends. Seeley continues to lead McDonald in that 4th place battle in LMP. The gap now is 10 seconds. Biggest we've seen it. As that'll open up the GTE pros at the front momentarily. Seeley, of course, with the short fill, he was caught by the 99. Then he went full fuel. McDonald took tires. But they were only a lap apart from pit road, so he's not going to be on lighter fuel. It's got to be traffic that's opened up that gap. We will watch that. So we had 5 frames of Jennifer McDonald there. Sakalis in the pits. And he's on the right side. This looks like a scheduled stop, not a drive-through. Everybody's going to have to make 2 stops here, we think. Oh, he goes long, deep into his pit box. Not a lot of time lost there. Riebensteiner also in the pits. So we'll start to see the GTE Pro strategies playing out here. Sakalis is away, no tires. And he will drop to 3rd place. Now, Posland, remember, that too is misleading. He's only made 1 stop. So... Oh, Shalikas has been hit! The race leader in GTE Pro, that is Eric Fox. And after taking the lead in the class, Mantis Shalikas now having to recover. What's going on? It's on the way into the carousel, and I hate to say it, but that was talked about in the drivers' meeting as well. And Eric already on an avoidable contact penalty when he hit the 99. That is not going to help, especially when you've got a race leader involved. Now, it has not cost Amantis the lead. He is coming down pit road. So Sakalis has come down to the pits. We know it's scheduled time anyway, but how much damage has that Corvette sustained in that little off? You see some GT3 AMs also making their pit stops. Here comes Enos Bothma, who was your leader in GT3 AM. Struff and Russell have gone through. And we're hearing from pit road that there are optional repairs on the 546. We'll see how many they've taken. No, he's not going to take that. Try and get out with the lead. 105 of optionals, we're told, from pit lane. There goes Sakalis right there. So if nothing else, it has cost the track position. And Andreas Sakalis now in the provisional lead of this race. We wait for James Posland to come back down pit road for his 2nd stop. 33 minutes remain here at Road Atlanta, race number 2 of the Night Racing League Sports Car Championship. As coming out of the pits is Hayden Fowler. Jose Flores there, running 5th now in GT3. As we wait for everybody to cycle through. Ooh, a little bit of a slide there by our race leader. Barklow is not taking tires. Turning outstanding lap times, I have to say. He's got a 16-second lead on Dennis Rotter, but maybe we start to see a little bit of that old rubber starting to affect the performance of the 818. He's got a nice gap, so he can start to take care of that car. We know there's one more stop for the LMPs. It'll be a short one. It's been straight full fuels for Clayton and for Dennis. So it'll be a splash and go at the end. But they're on the same strategy, so he can afford to use that 15 seconds wisely if he's got to start protecting those tires. Rotter's going to have to Going to have to chase. I paused for a second because the 91 is in the pits. He's out 22 seconds of fuel, no tires. We know he's already got fresh rubber on that car. So Poslan now, with the pit stop cycled through, is 10 seconds off the lead in GTE Pro. And Enos Sakalas back in front, leading Amantis Silakis. And another report. This is fantastic. We know Amantis skipped the optional repairs. That car is down on speed. We'll watch the lap times. He hasn't got a representative lap time in yet since the pit stop. So we'll see what the 546 is doing when he comes around the next time by. It is a 4.5 second gap to the leader. And Poslan now 5 seconds back in third. There is Eric Fox, and it's a very quick decision from the stewards on this one. Eric already receiving an avoidable contact earlier on in the race. He's received a 10-second time penalty for avoidable contact. That is the next level, if you want. There are many options the stewards can take. But they've decided to go with a 10-second time penalty on that second collision. So that is going to drop Eric 20 seconds behind second place now on the leaderboard. It brings Seeley closer in fourth. But what is that? 35 to 54. It's still a 19-second gap. But the big penalty, of course, is, as you can see there, a 51.4 for Fox, a 52.8 for Rotter. As he closes that gap on track, it now pretty much takes Fox out of the running for a second place in this race. Andreas Sakalas leading GTE Pro. He's had a great day. The LMP leader comes through. There's Enos Bothma, who now runs in second place. Marcel Struth leads GT3 AM, the only car not to come down pit road for his second stop. So it's still got to cycle through for them. Bothma with a 33-second gap looks like he will come out. It'll be a short fill for Struth, but I think the pit road time is still going to be too much. In fact, as we say it, the 78 car is on pit road. Just hitting the limiter now, so we'll watch where the 395 comes by. He's on pit road. Where is Bothma? Just coming onto the main straight right now. Oh, and contact there. And I think that was the 999 again. Bothma has retaken the lead. What is going on with Andreas Schwarz? This is down at Canada Corner. He's letting everybody know he's coming through. Oh, he's locked the rears. And when it rains, it pours. For the unspammers, nothing he can do there. He's on the brakes. Everything's good. The LMP just loses the back end, and Schwarz back in the pits. Meanwhile, if I can get my numbers straight, there is your leader in GT3 AM, Enos Bothma, back on point in the 395 BMW M4 as we enter the final half hour at Road America. Marcel Struve has emerged from the pits in second place, but it is a very close second place. There is Lincoln Russell in the 29 car. They are nose to tail for this final stint in GT3 AM. Still in the pits. This could be, I don't know if that'll be a long one. As we check back in, the battle for second in GTE Pro is on. We said we'd look at those lap times. Shilakis a 2:02.8. He's about a second slower than Posland, who's got a run on him up the hill. We know he didn't take the optional repairs. Oh. But isn't that interesting? He's got the top end speed to stay in front. Posland has to back off. We've got the GT3 leader in front of them. Shilakis having to brake a little more than usual with a slower GT3 car in front. Posland right on his tail. Eric Fox decides to shoot the gap. Maybe going for the trifecta there. Posland pulls out for the toe. Shilakis, who's had enough fun today, and he's going to just lose the brakes there. Finger on the light switch and the foot not on the brake switch. He's off, and that is second place for James Posland. The gap is 7.7 seconds up to Andreas Sakalis. Sorry, Andreas. The 717, who has had this race pretty much his own way. He had the one mistake which cost the lead momentarily. That's been paid back. But a 2:01.8. Posland, of course, dealing with that traffic in the battle for second, was a little slow on that last lap. We'll see now with clear track. As he enters Canada corner, Sakalis just going through into Bishop right here. 7.6 seconds. As Zerino makes his way in for a third time down pit road, started drive-through. This is usually when you start to see drive-throughs come through if people have been creeping up on it. But Posland that time around a 2:02.2, and that is a 0.6 of a second pickup. The gap down to 7.2 seconds. Zerino did stop in his pit box, but only for 1.7 seconds. I wonder if he thought it was a stop-and-go penalty and not a drive-through. We do not have stop-and-goes here. They are all drive-throughs if you hit the 10X, and then every 6X after that. As Bothma now running with Jacob Wally, and boy, we're robbed of having Jacob up there in the battle for the lead. You make one mistake, and it can cost you your result. So we get to watch the pair of M4s running together. Jacob will be back very strong at Road Atlanta, I have no doubt. Currently running in 9th in class, 6 laps down. John Nielsen is in the pits, only a lap up, so there's a reason to keep it going when you're battling for a championship. There may be a position up for grabs here for Jacob, and we'll see what's going on Ooh, very wide for Dale Clough. He lets the leader by. Paul Seeley in fourth. That gap now down to 2 seconds, as we should see McDonald right there in the background. This group of GT3s didn't do his lap time any favors by catching him at that part of the track. But there's nothing they can do about it. That's up to Seeley to negotiate it. McDonald gets them all on the main straight. And that really helps. 2.5 seconds quicker that time around. And it was all in those final corners. We're going to see that battle for fourth in LMP very, very soon. Zerino is back in the pits. What is going on with Ivan? If you're watching us there in the 77 pit box, maybe give us a message as to what is going on. He's very far left, so this is a drive-through. But it comes very soon after a curious short pit stop. Keith Rainey negotiating this battle. It's the other KRE car we want to see. As they come through Imantas Shilakis, the third place GTE Pro. Imantas is, he's got a little bit of damage, but a 14-second gap on Max Riebensteiner. So a podium is still in the cards if you can keep that Corvette on the black stuff. Into the pits for a splash and go is Clayton Barklow. Dennis Rotter takes the lead with 20 minutes to go. There will be a splash and go pit stop for the 011. As Posland has been off, he's lost that position. Posland down to third. And sorry we missed that. So the 91 with more issues. We hear he did spin. Haven't got a replay of it, unfortunately, but the damage is done on the sheet. There you see Shilakis back in front of the 91. McDonald and Seeley continue to ebb and flow through traffic. Seeley with a better lap last time around. They're now clear of traffic and have, well, relatively clear track. The GTE Pro leader is the next car up the road. And what a present for Andrius Sakalas, as Posland obviously pushing hard to try and close that gap. It was under 10 seconds. He now has a luxurious 16-second lead over Shilakis. Posland has it all to do again to get by the Lithuanian. Seeley and McDonald, 18 minutes to go. This is your battle for fourth. The strategies are played out. They'll both have a splash to go. Seeley coming by Sakalas. They are in now. Here it is. That is Schwarz in front very slowly into the pit box. They just now hit the cones. Seeley having to lock it right up. Schwarz is coming down for a drive-through penalty, so obviously not trying to hurry the yellow cone line, but boy, that really had an effect on Seeley and McDonald, who had to slam on the brakes to not hit the back of him. They will hit the pit boxes as we look back up front. That is Enos Bothma at the front of this group of cars. Lincoln Russell, the third place car. Sorry, that is Marcel Struth at the head of this. And coming up the hill, Lincoln Russell right in behind. That's your battle for second place in GT3 AM. Meanwhile, out of the pits, McDonald has jumped Seeley. 16.2 seconds stopped, 18.8 for the Canadian, and the pass is made on pit road. Jennifer McDonald up to fourth. Well, up to fifth on the timing screen. There's Christian Semba right there, who has not made his final stop. McDonald in fourth, Seeley in fifth. Wait for it. We have battles all over the circuit right now. As we jump back to GT3 AM, just under 17 minutes to go, and we have battles in 3 classes for podium positions. We still await Dennis Rotter and Eric Fox to come down pit road in LMP. Clayton Barklow has made his final stop and is good to go. This is the battle for second in GT3 AM. Marcel Struff in the 78 BMW M4 leading Lincoln Russell in the plain white wrapper Ferrari 488 Evo. They are 15 seconds off the lead. This is the battle for the final 2 podium spots. Jennifer McDonald in 4th place as soon as Christian Semba decides to come down. Here's the other battle. Hoseland has retaken second in GTE Pro. Shalikas with that damage cannot keep up. The optional repairs would have put him back in the grips of Max Riebensteiner and possibly losing a podium spot, so they made the decision to get the car back out. It's just about a second a lap off pace we've seen by the lap times, but it is going to save him a podium position if he can hold on. That gap, 13 seconds back to the 14 car of Max Riebensteiner. Seeley holding on to the back end of McDonald. Lost that spot in the pits. Of course, he took that early fuel. McDonald was stopping a lap later. We also hear he was very slow out of the gate, dropped the clutch, and bogged the car down. But McDonald was already rolling. So the position was lost already at that point. He just exacerbated that. But he's made up the track position, and with a little bit of traffic here as they come by Jacob Wally, Paul Seeley tries to come through. Did he make it? He did. He got through Wally, and that's not cricket. Jacob not flashing the lights, but I think he was staying left. Seeley hesitated and then said, I'm going for it. I don't believe there was contact. We're hearing there was no contact between the 2 cars, so well done. McDonald continues to come through. There is Riebensteiner over on the left side. Or sorry, on the right side of the circuit, coming out of the carousel. Dennis Rotter comes through that GT3 battle. Makes the pass. When are he and Fox going to come down? Fox, of course, add 10 seconds to his gap. He's picked up a couple of penalties today. It's the first time I think Eric can at least, I don't think he should be proud of it, but I believe, I'm correcting myself as I say it. I was going to say I believe you're the first person to collect 2 penalties in a single race. That, of course, is not true. We had somebody do it in Sebring. Somebody who we won't name because events after that led to him not being here anymore. Lincoln Russell continues to hound Marcel Struff. And what has, let's be fair, been a race-long battle here. All kinds of traffic. It's such a difficult circuit. You look at the map. You have long straights, great toes, slow braking zones. It should be very easy to pass here. But then you have so many pinch points. like turns 6 and 7 and 8, the carousel, the kink, Bishop Corner, turns 13, 13A. It's just, there's so many places to get in trouble here with the 3 classes. As everybody ebbs and flows. Hayden Fowler there having himself an average day by his standards, 6th place, running behind his teammate Kevin Hensel. Next to come through this battle is Dean Ellico. He waits through the carousel. Dean is not in a battle on the racetrack, currently running in 7th. Where is Dennis Rotter on the circuit? Just now coming through the final corner. Are we going to see that pit stop? No, we're not. 11 minutes remaining. Rotter's going around again. Seeley has dropped off the back end of Jennifer McDonald. Almost 2 seconds now, the gap there. Semba has still not pitted as well, so he is listed in 4th. Here comes Fox. We have advantage here on the broadcast. For those of you who don't know the format of this series, we race on Saturdays. And the races are then officiated, everything's done, and we prepare these race broadcasts, run them off the replays. One of the reasons why you see James Posland there with the wrong paint job on his car, it just didn't load today off of Trading Paints, so that's unfortunate. But we know what the penalties are. The drivers at the time of this race do not. So Eric Fox will be unaware of the 10 seconds being added to his race time, and is of course pushing to catch Rotter. It's just one of the quirks of the format, the way we do things here. This is a free series, and we do everything we can to make it free for everybody to join, and paying broadcasters isn't in the budget, so we do it the next day, and that's why you'll see him jumping as hard as he can, even though there's a 10-second penalty on it. Clay Barlow and Jennifer McDonald, Paul Seeley have all jumped by Christian Semba. Of course, Barlow was in front already. McDonald and Seeley are through. Semba has made his final stop, and maybe that means the next time around we're going to see Dennis Rotter, who, as I say, is driving up the hill again and crossing the start-finish line. So it'll be another lap, at least, until we see the final pit stops in LMP2. Here's Kevin Hensel, who had a mistake early. He's also going to collect a penalty from today's race, but it's a top 5 for the German, and he's finished ahead of Hayden Fowler, so that's a good accomplishment. They have a good battle going on, but I do believe if we look back through the series results, Hayden has had the upper hand, so a very good day for Kevin, and a great drive. After making that one mistake, it must be said. Here's 0-0. After he's had some interesting pit road developments, running in 8th place, and that is out of position, I must say. Ivan was very, very fast and actually led at Daytona for a portion. He was always in that podium battle, so just an off day there for Ivan. Seeley gets through there and tries to see what he can do. And we have confirmation there from the 77 that he did think it was a stop and go and had that 1.2 second stop. Then, of course, when he left pit road, that didn't clear the drive-through penalty because he thought it was, of course, the sim thought it was a pit stop. So he did have to come back down again. All that sorted. Ivan sits in 8th place. So thanks all you on the Discord to keep us up to date on what's going on there. Lincoln Russell continues to get closer. There is Clayton Barklow coming through. He did well to keep that clean. That was very good and lost as little time as possible. Taking Russell before the kink, got into the gap, and then taking Struve after the kink. The GT3s didn't even react, and that's what they're supposed to do. Great job by all three drivers there. Barklow trying to keep those lap times up to stay in front of Rotter. You can see Fox has made that final pit stop. We still await Dennis Rotter, who has gone around again. He's in turn 6 at the moment. There's Fowler. The gap in GTE Pro now down to 6 seconds. As Sakalis continues to lead, Shilakis, does look like the podium is going to be there. He's still, I was going to say a 10-second gap. It looks like Riebensteiner just had an issue. He's dropping back, so Riebensteiner not looking like he's got anything to come up and challenge for that podium. So a good decision on pit road there by the 546. There is Sakalis. The gap down under 6 seconds now with 6 minutes to go. Last time around, 2:02.3, 2:01.4 for Posland, 9/10 of a second. They're crossing the line now. We'll see what this lap time is. It's a 2:02.4 for Sakalis, and in behind Posland, a 2:01.4. So another second as the GTE Pro top step of the podium still in doubt. Rotter is on pit road. This should be a quick one. Where is Barklow? Just now coming through Bishop. It should be a short fill. Rotter's out of his box. He's going to have the lead. Dennis Rotter's done it again. Through turn number 1. He sits in the weeds all day long, just like in Daytona. And a short fill, 7.5 seconds. Dennis Rotter takes the lead with 5 minutes remaining. And trying to make it back-to-backs to start his title defense here in Season 3. What a drive by Dennis Rotter. Clayton Barklow had a drive-through penalty. That's where he lost the time. You can see the 4 beside his name. The incident points after such a good run caught up to him. We have a lot of drivers right on the limit. Paul Seeley with that early contact with Keith Rainey, we believe there were 2 of them, started this race with 6x in the first 15 minutes. He's sitting on 9x at the moment, so there are a lot of drivers right on that, teetering on that drive-through. There is Imantas Shilakis looking like he's going to come home with a podium here. Riebensteiner has gone to the pits for a drive-through. He had an off there. It's dropped him all the way down to 6th place, and that has promoted Kevin Hensel and Hayden Fowler into the top 5. And more importantly for Imantas, he can now just bring that car home. It is a 30-second gap to anyone behind him. There's Jennifer McDonald now in 4th place. Seeley holding on, but it's still a 2-second gap. And we know Jennifer has fresher left side tires than does Seeley on the 72. He has gone the whole race on the same 4. So there will definitely be a performance advantage for the 99. I think the base lap time was a little quicker. Jennifer, of course, qualified 4th. Seeley was 7th.
So a good pickup there for the Canadian, at least. Up 2 spots, McDonald on her qualifying position. In fact, the top 4 are back in their qualifying positions now, with Rotter taking the lead. Dennis Rotter, we're told, will get the 1 to go. And when he comes by, just now coming through the kink, it'll be one more time around for Dennis, and we'll check where the leaders are. It'll be, as it was in Daytona, it'll be GT3 coming around before the GTE Pro leader. In fact, Sakalis may get himself passed on the last lap. We'll see. That gap now down to 3 seconds, so hold your horses there. It's not like they're going to try and take a lap off the race by slowing down. There's Ines Bothwell, your GT3 AM leader. We're going to stick with this. Dennis Rotter has taken his 1 to go. And if he doesn't pass Andreas Sakalis or James Posland, they will have to go all the way around again. They'll get 1 to go the next time by. There's the gap. You see they've got Mark Sonnen in between them. Please let me by. Oh, no. We saw that earlier. I think with some LMPs. Steve wanted him to go on the right, and then they both moved together. He's through before the carousel, and that's going to maybe give him back that space, so there won't be any time lost there. Posland having to wait. Sonnen, oh, they've got an LMP. That is terrible. Horrible luck and timing right there for Posland. He finally will get by Groninga. He's flashing Sonnen to say, let me through. That'll get done down by Canada Corner. Certainly didn't give it the position, did he? But that gap now up almost to 3 seconds. Meanwhile, just behind all that, coming through the final turn, it is Dennis Rotter to win his 2nd straight race. Clayton Barklow will finish in 2nd, and Eric Fox, even with the 10-second time penalty, will be in 3rd. Coming through the carousel in GT3 AM, the 395 of Ines Bothma. He's got an 11-second lead in behind. The battle rages for 2nd. Lincoln Russell now right on the tail of Marcel Struff. They're going to come down to Canada Corner. This could be the last chance to get it done. They've got a GTE Pro to get by. He lets them by. Oh, it's Struff misses the braking zone. Hard. They both miss the braking zone. Max did everything to get out of the way and let them sort it. Lincoln Russell gets out of the gravel first. Up front, Ines Bothma will win in GT3. 2nd will go to Lincoln Russell. Andreas, with all this happening, Andreas Sakalis will win in GTE Pro. Posland right behind him, but what a race by all 3 classes. Andreas Sakalis wins at Road America. James Posland in 2nd. Imantas Shilakis will be your podium. Well, didn't that get fun at the end? And we'll check the results. Here are the official results. Dennis Rotter wins at Road America. Clayton Barklow, with a drive-through penalty, falls to second. Eric Fox, that's your podium. Jennifer McDonald debuts in her LMP points race in fourth. Paul Seeley rounds out the top five. Christian Semba, Dean Ellico, Andreas Schwarz, and Keith Rainey round out LMP. Andreas Sakalas holds on to win in GTE Pro ahead of James Posland and Imantas Shilakis. Kevin Hensel, Hayden Fowler, Max Riebensteiner. The top six, Mark Sonnen, Ivan Ziranu, and Zach Vorster. Finishes in ninth. Aiden Campbell, not classified, in 10th. GT3M, what a race there. Won by the 395 of Ines Bachma. Lincoln Russell gets second place after a bizarre final lap. Marcel Struth will round out the podium. Jose Flores debuts in the KRL in fourth ahead of Steve Groniga, who rounds out the top five. Dale Clough, Jan Spammers, Jacob Wally had a rough day but finishes in eighth ahead of John Nielsen and Nicholas Scott. Your points championship, Dennis Rotter doubles down and has a 26-point advantage over Eric Fox. Clayton Barklow recovers to 36 points and third place ahead of Paul Seeley and Andreas Schwarz. In GTE, James Posland holds on to his lead, but it's only 9 points ahead of Andreas Sakalas. Hayden Fowler slips to third. Ivan Ziranu had a rough day but is still in fourth place. Imantas Shilakis gets himself a podium and is 40 points back in fifth. In GT3M, Ines Bachma will jump to the top of the leaderboard ahead of Jacob Wally, who is now 21 points behind and only 3 ahead of Marcel Struth, Jan Spammers, and Steve Groniga. I hope you enjoyed the race today. Remember, we had an update to the schedule for races 6 and 7, but in 2 weeks' time after the Petit Le Mans, we are at Road Atlanta on the 9th of October. Join us then, and thanks for watching the KRL.